Welcome to the first part of how to bake a senpai crab. In this first episode, I'm going to give an overview of the whole process, and then in the following parts I'm going to focus in on specific things and get more in depth. I'll put annotations for those videos here in this video once I get those out. I'd like to preface this video by saying that Olivia has left the team, and I'm currently the only one working on this channel. We're on different sides of the world and we've kind of grown apart as a team, so we decided to split. Partly because of this, I'm currently taking a break from Senpai Club, working on a different project on my own, but I'll get back to Senpai Club eventually. Also, look at these cool new Senpai Club t-shirts that you can get at stashriot.com. This one is my favorite. Free shipping throughout April. Come up with an idea for your new show. For Senpai Club, we're basically just like, hey, let's make a shitty fake anime as generic as possible. And then I was like, hey, let's do it in Japanese even though we don't speak any of it at all. And so we did. After the character designs were done, we got started with the script. Usually when we write a script, we start by doing a really loose one, like a poorly spelled bullet point version of the story. Then I use that and turn it into an actual proper script. Even though the show is in Japanese, I write it all in English at first, until I translate the lines before recording the final voices. When we're happy with the script, we start doing storyboards. I'm sure most of you know what storyboards are, but if you don't, it's basically a series of drawings that guide how all the shots and the final thing should look. Here are some examples. After those are done, I record a timing audio track where I just imagine the episode in my head and just act it out. I play all the characters and do some temporary sound effects. Then I take that audio track, put it into my timeline, and then put the storyboard panels in sync with it. When that's done, we basically have a super rough version of the episode that we can watch all the way through, which is great for figuring out stuff to change, timing and such. We then use this timeline as the foundation for the episode all the way through until it's done, basically just placing the final clips on top of it piece by piece and replacing the audio until it's all final. Once I've done that, we can get started with the animation itself. We use Photoshop, which is available on the internet. If you don't want to do that though, you can get Clip Studio Paint, which is much cheaper and has some nice new animation features. I just sketch the key poses, draw any major in-between frames that I need, and then I just draw the clean lines over those to make what it's supposed to look like. And then I draw the actual in-betweens after that to make it smooth. Then we put in some color and shading and then it's done. As I said, I'll get more into this in a different video, as well as how we do backgrounds, but we don't really use any special techniques here software wise. I can't really teach you how to animate though, because that's like a really big topic, but here's this book that everyone recommends. Next is the most fun part, compositing. I do this in After Effects, which you can also find online. I take all the parts that are needed for the shots, then put them all together. I time the frames out, put the backgrounds in, do some color correction, blurs, anything that's needed. Generally I diffuse the light parts of the image too, because if you do that it looks more like a real anime. The compositing is a huge topic on its own. I'll get super in-depth about it in a different video if you're interested. Then once I've finished the shot, I drop it in onto the time storyboards that I talked about earlier. It's really satisfying. Once all the shots are in, we do the final voice acting, just like a real anime, where they record the voices afterwards. Voice acting is another one of those topics that I've gotten a lot of requests to talk about, and I don't really know what to say. We just do the voices into a microphone. We don't really do any editing to make the voices sound different, except for Bancho Senpai's voice, which is very slightly slowed down sometimes to make it a little lower. Other than that, it's just what we sound like. If you watch the first episode and then the newest one, you'll notice the voice is getting much more consistent and better sounding, but that's just from practicing. Sound effects aren't a very complicated topic. I usually just record it myself or find one online if I'm too lazy. Put them in so that they play corresponding to the action on screen. The music is something I'll make more videos about. I usually make it myself, but in the 80s episode we had help from some of my friends with the opening, and a Japanese retrowave group called Satellite Young for the ending. There's a video that shows the recording of that opening on our channel. Maybe check it out if you haven't seen it. The other openings and endings are basically just me in my room doing the standard kind of home recording thing. The vocals for the first opening were provided by my older brother Toby, and the second one was sung by a German cosplayer named Stephanie Klein. The first two endings were both sung by me, and then I just put it all together in Adobe Premiere and then put it on the internet. How do you feel? The next video will probably be in depth about pre-production stuff like character designs and storyboards and scripts and such. And then I'll have one detailed video per stage of the production. Hope you enjoyed this video. Better not forget to like, favorite, comment, subscribe, smash that like. Give me money on Patreon. Tell all your friends to subscribe to my cool YouTube channel. Peace.